quickly before I go back to the callers. This article that came out of the New York Times, it was on the Drudge Report. Scientists talking privately about creating a synthetic human genome. I need you to understand the implications of this technology, where this is headed, the danger of this. They say scientists are now contemplating the fabrication of a human genome, meaning they would use chemicals to manufacture all the DNA contained in human chromosomes. Now, this is a follow-up to the Human Genome Project. You remember that? You had the scientists with the money from the government's large research project where they went in and they analyzed the human DNA. They sequenced the DNA genome. So basically what they were doing is studying it, analyzing it, trying to figure out what the different components were. Now they're at the point where they want to build it from the ground up. That means you're not going to have father and mother. This is beyond Brave New World, where they went in and they had the hatcheries, where they would create the eggs, where they would multiply them out, separate them out so they would have different strata of society. Remember, they had the alpha, the betas, the gammas, deltas, the epsilons. Some of them they would withhold oxygen from so that they were mentally deficient, crippled in other ways. Then they would have the others that they would enhance. Then they would follow that up with training, special training. So they had this stratified, government-controlled world government. But of course, it goes all the way back to Plato. And if you look at the elements that all these different social engineers have, you have the elements of a rigid class society. Plato didn't have the alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilons. He had the philosopher kings. He had the guardians. He had the people who served them. They also had a crude kind of eugenics even back then, where they would say, well, we don't want the children to know who their family is. So we're going to create this hedonistic society where everybody is having these orgies. Nobody knows who their parents are, so that the only mother and father they know is the state. But then, of course, if they wanted to have a kind of crude eugenics, they would drug certain individuals, make sure that they made it, and then follow the offspring, take that offspring for a particular purpose. And then at the very bottom of this, of course, was education. If you want to destroy the society, you don't blow it up with bombs. You had Obama's mentor realize that, Bill Ayers from the Weathermen. Okay, he stopped bombing society. And what he did to really destroy, to deconstruct and destroy our society, was to get into education. That's where he's been hanging out for decades. And that, of course, is where Obama is now focused on education, with the Department of Education doing the types of things to reorganize society. But when you get to the point that they can go in and they can synthesize individuals, what are they going to do? Are they going to, as the article points out, they're going to make copies of specific people? Are they going to create special super soldiers, people that are bred to be that? Are they going to, as one person who blew the whistle on this said, would it be okay, for example, to sequence and then synthesize Einstein's genome and then maybe train him in your schools to make him evil, okay? Unlike the original Einstein. Now, he exposed this, but the guy who put this together at Harvard Medical School, George Church, says, no, there's just a misunderstanding. This wasn't aimed at creating people, just at creating cells. Well, you know what? Let's not quibble over semantics. That is what they were trying to do. They called it, to start out, the Human Genome Project 2, HGP2, the Human Genome Synthesis Project. They said it was going to be an invitation to meeting at Harvard, so the primary goal would be to synthesize a complete human genome in a cell line within a period of 10 years. This is very concerning, folks. I mean, going back to, this is like Jurassic Park, really, but far worse, because it combines they're not creating dinosaurs, okay? They're creating a monstrous society here. Brave New World. It's far scarier than Jurassic Park. And it is something that threatens our society far more. And if we go back and we look at this, at the very end of this article, one of the guys makes this statement. He says, our ability to understand what to build is so far behind what we can build. I just don't think that being able to make more and more and more and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper is going to get us the understanding we need. Well, Michael Crichton, as a writer, put it much more succinctly. He said, just because you can build it doesn't mean you should. And they say, well, we went through and we looked at the ethics behind this. You are making this determination without the rest of us being involved in this. And this is the ethical considerations are far different than the technical considerations. And this is something we need to understand how this fits into this kind of scheme that the New World Order, that the globalist elite have had for 2,400 years, going all the way back to Plato, going through Aldous Huxley. They want to engineer society, and they want to create the individuals that are going to give them empowerment and control.
In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries in the area of health. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. DNA Force is one of the most expensive formulas to produce. Some of the ingredients in DNA Force are $12,000 a kilogram. We are using the coveted, patented, only American source of PQQ, CoQ10, and more. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force from InfoWars Life.